Jews have gone to extremes to hide Jesus, even coming up with an alternate Bible. Stay tuned today to find out more. The prophet Isaiah was never popular with Jews. They didn't want to hear him predict that Jews would meet destruction by the Assyrians. They just didn't want to hear it. But the prophecies came true. Now, initially, Jews went along with Isaiah's many prophecies about a Messiah. He talked about a Messiah who would come and suffer for the people. But when Jesus fulfilled the prophecies and came and threw the money changers out of the temple, many Jews changed their mind about Jesus.
For years, the rabbis determined Isaiah 53 as speaking about the Messiah. But after Jesus and Rashi comes up and says it's no longer talking about a person, it's talking about the nation of Israel. But when you read it, it's obvious that it is talking about a person.
Now, how do you discredit a prophet like Isaiah? Though many Jews accepted Jesus, those that did not have done a lot to hide Isaiah's prophecies. And that's what we'll look at today. I'm Jim Becca. I'd like to take you into a short yeshiva or organized Torah study dealing with the problems and explaining away Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. It's not an attack on Jews, it's a look at some of the problems in Jewish theology. We'll start with a Google search and look at what Isaiah said in Hebrew. We'll go to the meat of the prophecy, Isaiah 53. Now this is the chapter that Jews won't read in synagogues. Now, this is a site I like because it has spoken and written portions of the Bible, or Tanakh. Tanakh is what Jews call the Old Testament. It's an acronym, Torah, Nevi'im, which is prophets, and Ketuvim, which is writings. You'll notice for the verses, instead of using numbers or Roman numerals, they use the Hebrew alphabet. Aleph is 1. The 5th verse is the letter Hey. And the 6th verse is the Vav. You'll also notice the question marks. Jews like to question this verse, obviously, because it talks about the Messiah, and they don't really know how to explain that. Now remember, early 1st century Jews all understood Isaiah 53 was talking about a suffering Messiah. But after Jesus came and was crucified, they had to change this up, re-explain or reinterpret or rewrite Isaiah, which is one thing they did in the 2nd century. They came up with an Aramaic Bible. They called it the Targum. Some say it's not really a Bible, but more of a commentary. But if you look at it, it's verse by verse, just like the regular Bible, or Tanakh. Now, what you're looking at is the Old Testament, or Tanakh, side by side with the Targum. Let's look at Isaiah 53:5. It says, "He was wounded because of our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities." Now the Targum changed this. "He will build up the holy place, which has been polluted for our sins." As you can see, no mention of the suffering. The other Targum references to Isaiah 53 are similar. Jesus is not a suffering Messiah, but he's a praying Messiah. So Jews had a rewritten Bible to explain away Isaiah 53. But the Dead Sea Scrolls were written 200 years before Jesus and 300 years before the Targum. And the Dead Sea Scrolls point to Jesus, the suffering Messiah. Judaism came up with another explanation in the Middle Ages when a Jewish scholar, Rashi, made the argument that Isaiah was talking about a group of people, Jews, and not an individual, Jesus. But when you look at the scriptures, that's really quite a stretch. Isaiah 53 verse 5 says, "But he was wounded for our transgressions." Not the people, not the nation of Israel, but a man. This verse begins with, "but he." So when you take it into Hebrew, those two words combine into one word. And the first letter is the Vav. It takes the place of but or and. He is who, the who. It's masculine, singular. No way it can be a country or a people. Just think about the promise God made to Abraham to be a blessing to the world. Yeshua, Jesus, came and died for the world. And after his crucifixion, that message went out to the world.